They called her dangerous. A queen too intelligent to control, too fearless to intimidate, too powerful to destroy. For decades, European empires tried to conquer her kingdom. And for decades, she fought back. This is the story of Queen Nzinga, the African queen Europe feared. In the early 1600s, the Portuguese Empire was expanding into Africa. Their goal was simple: control land, capture wealth, and dominate the slave trade. Across Central Africa, kingdoms began falling under European pressure. But one kingdom refused to bow: Ndongo. Located in what is now Angola, Ndongo stood directly in the path of Portuguese expansion. At the center of its resistance was a woman history almost erased: Queen Nzinga. Born into the royal family around 1583, Nzinga grew up during war and political chaos. From childhood, she learned diplomacy, leadership, and survival. Unlike many royal women of her time, she trained beside powerful men and quickly became known for her intelligence and confidence. Soon, those skills would be tested. The Portuguese were advancing deeper into African territory. Villages were destroyed. Thousands of Africans were captured and sold into slavery. Nzinga's brother, the king of Ndongo, struggled to protect the kingdom. Desperate for peace, he sent Nzinga to negotiate directly with the Portuguese governor in Luanda. It became one of the most legendary diplomatic meetings in African history. When Nzinga entered the room, she noticed something intentional. The Portuguese governor sat proudly on a chair. But for her, there was no chair. She was expected to sit on the floor beneath him, a symbol of submission. But Nzinga refused. Instead, she ordered one of her servants to kneel on the ground. Then she calmly sat on the servant's back, raising herself to the same height as the governor. The room fell silent. Without speaking, Nzinga had sent a message. She would never bow to foreign power. The Portuguese quickly realized they were not dealing with an ordinary ruler. Nzinga negotiated skillfully and secured temporary peace for her people. But peace would not last. After the death of her brother, Nzinga took control of the kingdom. Almost immediately, Europe saw her as a threat, not simply because she ruled, but because she resisted. At a time when European powers expected African kingdoms to surrender, Nzinga built alliances, organized armies, and launched military campaigns against Portuguese forces. She became both a strategist and a battlefield commander. Again and again, the Portuguese attempted to defeat her. Again and again, she survived. But Nzinga understood something important. To defeat an empire, strength alone was not enough. She needed allies. So she formed relationships with neighboring African states and even negotiated with the Dutch, enemies of Portugal at the time. It was a dangerous political game, but Nzinga played it brilliantly. Through diplomacy and war, she kept resistance alive for decades. Slowly, her legend grew. To the Portuguese, she became a nightmare. A queen who refused surrender. A ruler impossible to control. A symbol of African resistance. European records described her with fear and fascination. Because Nzinga challenged the image Europe wanted the world to believe, that African rulers were weak and easy to conquer. Nzinga shattered that illusion. Even as she aged, she continued fighting.